All right, listen. We are taking back your HQ. You're getting up prisoner. We are killing Commander Graves.
When?
Now. This is a fight against our own. We are not one for one and lost for Kieros on this. We're a team. Ghost team.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Beyond COD podcast. I am your host and I'm here today with my co-host, Beyond Anarchy. And today, guys, we're just going to be talking about COD. This is our first episode of our podcast. We have a lot in store for you guys, and I'm really excited to bring this to you. But before we start, we do want to give a quick shout out to our Instagram and our YouTube. We also stream on Twitch. You can go check out FaZe over there on Twitch and also check out me. I should be able to have all these links posted in the description of this podcast video. It's going to be up on YouTube, and I'm going to try to get it up on Spotify. I'll let you guys know when that goes live. And I'm also going to put our TikTok and Instagram down below, so you guys can go check that out. You guys will already know what YouTube it is because this is where it's going to be posted first anyway. But welcome everyone. Here with FaZe. Say hello, FaZe.
Hello.
All right. So first things first, we do have a schedule. We're going to try to do one episode every week, so it's going to be a Friday. This week is special. You're going to get a double episode week. This episode should be posted on Wednesday, which is really cool. And then you'll get one Friday. The reason being you're going to get two this week is because we have a big Season 1 Reloaded coming out tomorrow, and we're going to be playing Shipment, Raids, all that good stuff that's coming out, especially the Chimera, and we're going to talk about that here, me and FaZe. We're going to talk about all the new stuff that's going to be coming out, all the cool stuff, and we'll just talk about it. So, I don't know if you know this, FaZe, but there's actually going to be two different types of shipment. There's going to be holiday shipment and just normal shipment, which I find a little weird. I think they should have just only done one and then updated the game and did the other one.
Oh man, they're gonna do holiday shipment again.
Nothing crazy though. From what I hear, it's just gonna be like some normal stuff. It's not gonna be anything crazy. It's just gonna be like just Christmas lights and stuff everywhere.
Not like what they did with Vanguard when they added it.
Krampus? Yeah, that was crazy. I remember that. That was pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, it's just going to be a normal Season 1 Reloaded, to be honest. Nothing super crazy. The only thing that's really cool that me and FaZe are probably looking forward to most is seeing the Chimera, basically the Honey Badger, come back to Call of Duty. Yep. And then also we have Raids, which I'm going to kind of dive deep a little bit into the Raids. What I really want to see is, I know this is going to happen already, the bots that you're going to fight in that are going to be ridiculously hard. I think we all know that already, like, especially from DMZ, we can kind of tell that. But what I'm really expecting is to see, because they're making more and more episodes, I want to see really good rewards. I know that you can unlock the Gaz skin from it, and that's going to be really cool. But I think COD is adding so many good game modes, but not like tons of easy achievable, rewards. And I think that's what kind of keeps your game going is, yeah, you can have these paid, skins and stuff, but the people that, are free to play probably just want to, earn these skins. So hopefully we'll be able to see tomorrow all the rewards and stuff. So I'm excited. So I don't know about you, FaZe.
Hopefully we get to see how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, I know that the raid mission is called the Tomograd raid. It's like an underground bunker. And if you haven't already, as of checking this video out on Wednesday, we'll be streaming that and posting it on Twitch. So that's more of a reason for you guys to go check that out. Also, I have a video up talking about Season 1 Reloaded. It should already be out by then. So, but there is a video up there. If you haven't seen it, go check it out as well. But yeah, really excited. I pretty much am very, very close to getting polyatomic on all my guns. And, this is probably the first Call of Duty where, like, I've gone super, super hard in camos as of recent. Cold War was the last one where in the zombies, I got Dark Aether. But that was pretty much it. I haven't really gone for much camos. Yeah, but I'm really excited, especially with, I think MW2 is honestly probably one of my most favorite CODs. And that's why it's going to bring us into our next segment that I'm going to talk with FaZe about is our top 5 favorite CODs of all time and kind of why, and we'll kind of explain it. So I'll let FaZe go first. Do you know any of your top 5? What do you think? What do you think is like your top 5 CODs?
Well, definitely this new one is definitely my favorite one of all time. Like, it just beats all the games. Like, the campaign was so crazy and out of this world. I mean, it didn't have zombies, but that's fine.
Yeah, honestly, I agree.
The co-op
sure.
was pretty fun. I wish there was more missions, but
Yeah, they did add a new mission. I
they
think they
will
might
add
be adding a
them
little
as the
more.
seasons progress. So
Yeah.
it was just like so much funner than previous years.
Hmm. Yeah. So you're putting MW2 as your first one.
Yeah, this MW2 is my first one. But that's
All right.
not to be confused by my second place, which is the old MW2.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say my first one. And a lot of people might be a little puzzled by my decision, so I will explain my backstory a little bit. I wasn't able to really play Call of Duty when I was growing up. Had very restricted parents. I wasn't able to like play FPS games like this. But my first FPS game of Call of Duty that I got to play a lot of was Advanced Warfare. This is back when the Xbox One had first got announced, dropped. It came in a bundle. Or no, it didn't come in a bundle. My my dad had bought it from Costco, right? And it came with Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Unity.
Yeah.
And that bundle I know a lot of people bought. But he also got Call of Duty with it. And originally the Xbox was for him. I wasn't really allowed to play. I didn't really play too much at all. My dad would stay up late nights, and he would play some of it. I would like sneak and watch him play Call of Duty and stuff. And I wasn't really allowed to. And then he kind of just passed the Xbox to me, and I was able to play it a little bit. I'd have to sneak into Advanced Warfare a little bit in order to play it. But I loved Advanced Warfare so much. I mean, I got every item in that game. I was max prestige. I had literally every item in the game, and I loved the Advanced Warfare. It was honestly like because it's such a nostalgic game for me, I have to put it number one. But that's only because it's the first one I grew up with, and I didn't really play the older ones. I think the farthest I've gone back as of recent was World at War. And that was all right, to be honest. Like, as someone who was playing it for the first time, it was all right. I don't think it's crazy. Um, I just didn't enjoy it as much as Advanced Warfare. So I gotta have to put that as number one for me personally. But yeah. All right, FaZe, what's your number two?
My number 2 is the OG back in the old days, MW2. I mean,
Nice.
no zombies in that one either, but still one of the best campaigns in Call of Duty history. The Spec Ops was all right. but it had a really good multiplayer mostly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure MW2, the original, was basically the foot in the door for MW3. And that's where really a
Yeah,
lot of people were like super like into Call of Duty was back in the
yeah,
day on MW3. So I think that was like the entryway for everyone. I think a lot of people played MW2. They thought it was great, but then when MW3 came out, everyone was like, "Oh man, this is the best game." But I
yeah,
see a lot in the community. There's arguments between those two of which one's better or not. So I mean, personally, I can't say anything because I have not played these games. I have played the campaign for Modern Warfare, the remastered one. I did play that when it came with the bundle with Infinite Warfare. I did play that. Oh no, it wasn't the bundle for that. It was actually the MW 2019's um, edition where they kind of remastered the campaign. So I did play that, but I didn't really touch the originals. I did play Black Ops 2 a little bit. I do enjoy Black Ops 2. I honestly I think it's great, but in all honesty, I think my number two has got to be MW2. This new one, 2022 MW2. It's got to be because I've spent so much time in it, and there's something about MW2, this new one that I just gotta say, it makes you want to keep playing. Like to me, I don't really get burnt out on it. I mean, I got max prestige, and I haven't been playing it as much. But that's only because, like, to be honest, there's so many other cool games coming out. So I've been just trying to play all of them. But
yeah,
I really like MW2, this new one. I have to put it second place. Um, and honestly, if I didn't have such an impact on Advanced Warfare, I probably would have picked MW2 to be my most favorite. But I have to
yeah.
put MW2 there, the newest one, as my second place, just because it's just such a well-made game and I enjoy it a lot. All right, so what's your number three, Phase? What are you thinking?
I'm sure this one is of no surprise to anybody, but MW3, the OG MW3, one of the best story modes ever,
Mm-hmm.
point blank, a great survival mode, some alright spec ops missions, although they're pretty freaking difficult if you put it on veteran. But
Mm-hmm.
it literally had one of the best stories of all time. Like,
Yeah.
and this is why the Black Ops games just can't touch the Modern Warfare games for me. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the Black
I,
Ops story, but it just
I
doesn't
will agree.
compare.
I will agree. I think the Black Ops, what they have done, I think what everyone really kind of categorizes Treyarch as is like the Zombies franchise. I don't think people really categorize them as campaign or multiplayer. Um, I mean, BO2 for sure was the multiplayer. I mean, let's be honest. The Zombies is great in that, but majority of people love the multiplayer. I mean, that was probably like the biggest multiplayer for Treyarch. I like to be honest, like people really enjoyed. It was super simple, everyone enjoyed it. Now it's filled with modders and stuff, but that it is what it is. For my third COD, it's going to be an interesting choice because here's the thing. There's so many good CODs that I've played over the years, and of course I haven't played the older ones, so I'm very limited on what good CODs I can pick because there hasn't been very good CODs in the past couple of years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put MW 2019 as my third pick. And the reason for that is because I spent almost 240 days worth of time out of the entire year cycle of that Call of Duty. Now, guys, that's a lot. And that was back when I first was graduating high school. I only worked, I think it was like 4 hours a day, something like that at work. I worked like 4 to 8 shifts, and I did school at home, so I was just playing MW constantly. And I think that's probably has to do with the fact why I spent so much time on it, but I enjoyed that game. I will say the first beginning drop of MW, I didn't like it. I don't know what it was. I stopped playing it, and then I came in back like a little bit before season 1 ended. Season 2 dropped, and that's when I really got into it. I loved it. And opposed to what a lot of people liked about MW's the Warzone aspect, I didn't really play a lot of Warzone. I loved Cyber Attack. I had a whole squad for it. We got a lot of funny moments out of that. Me and Captain of Shield, who's a member in our Beyond clan, we got a lot of cool clips from that, and I really enjoy MW 2019. I had so many memories from that. Probably will take third place just because it just, again, had such a big impact for me and was just one of the biggest games because it's the only game I played during that entire time, and I really enjoyed it. So I think that's probably going to be my third spot. All right, Pace, what do you think on your fourth pick?
Now, this fourth one is going to puzzle a lot of people why I would put it here, but it's got to be Black Ops 3.
Interesting pick.
This game was literally some of like my most played Call of Duty like moments. I have played this game so much, and when it came out, I played it right from the get-go, constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the zombies released all the DLCs and Chronicles, I started playing even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll agree to that. BO3 was definitely like, I played a little bit of the multiplayer when it dropped the game. And then I think it was for around Christmas time, my Uncle Terry had given me Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles. And I didn't know about the Zombie Chronicles because I didn't play BO3 a lot, especially the multiplayer. I didn't really enjoy it when I first played it, so I kind of just returned the game because I didn't think it was going to be that great. Um, and then I got this game and I played zombies so much. I love the zombies and it was really good. I will say this in terms of my fourth game though, I'm not going to pick BO3. And instead, I'm going to be picking World War II. The main reason for that is I love Sledgehammer games. That game was such a big Call of Duty game. Regardless of what people say, it was such a big leap forward in Call of Duty. What people don't realize about that is like you had your own little player hub. You can walk around and see other players. You can open supply drops in front of players. You could see their customization. You could do 1v1 or 2v2 dogfights in this hub. You can literally do so much. There were so many missions, so many prestigious, so many weapons, so
There
many
were so
custom
many
weapons.
things that you wouldn't even have known.
Yeah, and I gotta say this, the campaign was beautiful. There's something about Sledgehammer campaigns, they're always really, really good. Vanguard's campaign was not terrible. I think Vanguard's campaign was pretty good. I enjoyed Vanguard's campaign.
And they did
It
zombies pretty well, too.
Oh, Vanguard?
Not Vanguard. Vanguard did the
No,
opposite.
no, and World War II did great on zombies, like you were saying. Like they did such a good job. I think it honestly, World War II overall was a very good Call of Duty. I really enjoyed World War II. The reason why I put it a little lower than all the other Call of Duties is because the best thing I really enjoyed out of that was the events they held and the supply drops. Besides that, the zombies was great, but it was just zombies, you know. And then the
Yeah.
multiplayer.
once again, the reason I don't have that really high is actually kind of because of the zombies. There's certain maps that I don't really feel like make the game really high on my list.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
the
the first
grocery
map is
store,
great.
the whole map is like all grayed out. I
Hmm.
mean, the first map is really good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I mean, like I said, I think the multiplayer was what did it for me. I really enjoyed the multiplayer and the campaign. Campaign was great. I really enjoyed it, but obviously he's got to sit at that fourth spot, unfortunately, just because it didn't have as much impact as the other Call of Duties did for me. But yeah, what's your fifth pick, FaZe? What are you taking for your final spot?
okay, so this was definitely a very, very difficult fight here between many different Call of Duties for this fifth spot.
Hmm.
And I actually have to give it to just barely Advanced Warfare.
Oh, nice.
Just
Put
barely,
Advanced
they
Warfare
took
in there.
this spot from MW 2019, which I would say is pretty much almost tied with it for
Hmm.
this spot because they were pretty much both really good. They had good
Hmm.
game modes. And there's Exo Survival and Exo Zombies. Some people didn't like that, but I did. I thought it was pretty good for the most part.
Yeah, that's something I didn't touch on is the Exo Zombies and Exo Survival was actually really fun. I do enjoy both of those. And I think the storyline for the Advanced Warfare Zombies was really, really interesting. The Easter eggs were really cool. Um, but I would agree. The only thing I say is like, you know, in terms of nostalgia, that's why I put it there. If we want to talk like base games, like if we want to talk in reality, if I want to take nostalgia out of it, 2019 would be ahead of, or MW2 2022 would be ahead of Advanced Warfare, and Advanced Warfare would probably be in my third spot. But because it had such an impact on me in terms of me playing Call of Duty, I would have to say it's number one. But for my fifth spot, it was really tough because there's a lot of good Call of Duties, but then I'm also limited on where I can pick. And so this is going to be weird because it was a tie between BO4 and Cold War. Now, a lot of people didn't like Cold War, but I enjoyed Cold War. I thought, honestly, it wasn't as bad as people said. The zombies was perfect. I loved the zombies in Cold War. The only thing I hated was Mauer. Mauer was garbage. I hated Mauer. I thought Mauer was not that great. A lot of people
Yeah,
do like Mauer, and that's cool. That's totally cool. But I did not like
there
Mauer.
were a lot of things floating around in my head between Black Ops 4 and Cold War at that
Yeah.
time. It was very hard to make that fifth decision.
Yeah, because I'm going to be honest, I hit Master Prestige in multiplayer on BO4. I loved BO4 multiplayer. Blackout was cool too.
Cold
Didn't
War,
play it
I
as
think
much,
that was
but
the most multiplayer I had ever played in a Call of Duty.
yeah,
Like,
and I'm gonna be honest, um I think that BO4 I played a lot. I played a lot of zombies on that. I really enjoyed it, but I'm going to put Cold War ahead of that. The only reason why I say that is because Cold War zombies just hit differently for me. Because
yeah,
when I played BO3 zombies and BO4, it's great and all, but when you jump into Cold War zombies, it's a different type of Treyarch zombies. Like it,
especially after Firebase.
oh yes,
Yeah, like
like
once Firebase was released, Then
Like,
there was
yeah.
no going back. That was when it was amazing.
Yeah, I would say Firebase 100% is the best map in Cold War Zombies. The second one would probably have to be the Forsaken. The Forsaken was a great map. The final map was amazing, perfect. They literally did everything 100% correct. I loved that map. That map was awesome. Um, but like I said, it's unfortunate because BO4 is such at a standstill with that. Um, and it's just tough.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's why on my list of the best zombies maps of all time, I have second place Firebase.
yeah. It's really tough. But before we continue on, because I think it would be cool to name our top 3 worst Call of Duties we played. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick little ad read, guys. It's kind of like a self promo ad, but guys, go check out our YouTube channel and our Twitch. Also, check this out in the description. There's going to be a list of all the links and stuff to our socials, all that good stuff. Go check us out. Show us some support. It's much appreciated when you guys do. We've been doing great on the channel. In fact, this is like our first month, and we've gained over 20 plus subs. Like, I'd say that's pretty good for a 1 month channel. We have over 17K viewers, and that it just blows my mind, especially in the first month. That's crazy. We're gonna bring more awesome content to you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching all of our content. Appreciate you all and keep it up. And we'll keep pushing out cool content. Okay, so I think it'd be awesome to where we kind of talk about our top 3 worst Call of Duties we've ever played. And so I'll go first. I think my number 1 worst Call of Duty I've ever played is obviously Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare, to me, the zombies was great. Like, it wasn't crazy. The multiplayer was garbage. I did not like the multiplayer. It
Oh
was
man.
terrible. Every gun one-shotted. Like, the
Oh yeah.
Infinite Warfare was just terrible. I think the multiplayer is all right. I think it's fun when you play against friends and just mess around on it. But in terms of like a good balanced multiplayer, was not balanced, was terrible. There was a glitch back when the double XP weekend when the game first dropped. You can literally get max prestige in the matter of 10 minutes. Like, the game was just broken. The entire game was broken. The campaign was great. I loved the campaign. I think the campaign would have these parts where it was just like, this isn't really that great. It's just kind of dragging on. But honestly, not bad for a campaign. But it has to be number 1 because the multiplayer is what I played most in Call of Duties, and it just sucked. It was so garbage. And to be honest, the first map in Zombies will always be the best. The arcade map, Zombies in
Yep.
Spaceland. That's the best one. Raven the Redwoods and all the other ones that I played, like Shaolin and Shuffle.
If you
They're
ask anybody
they're all
what's
right.
the best map in that game, they will literally tell you it's the base map.
Yeah, I mean, the Zombies DLCs were all right. They weren't that crazy good.
Thing like
Zombies
the
in Spaceland was
Treyarch
great though.
maps, but
Yeah, so Infinite Warfare, got to take it. It's garbage. All right, Faze. What do you think is your worst Call of Duty of all time?
actually, I don't think this one is actually that difficult because I think we have an agreement of opinions on
Mm-hmm.
this one, and it is clearly Infinite Warfare.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's just Infinite Warfare is just not that great. Just overall, it was not very fun for me. Like I kind of just stopped playing it. Like 2 weeks in, just gave up on it. It was just not fun. So, I mean, that's pretty easy choice for you, Faze. I mean, honestly, I wish Infinite Warfare was better, but it's just not. So, but yeah, my second choice, and this is funny because this comes out the same year Infinite Warfare and drops pretty much side by side. And that is going to be the Modern Warfare remastered Call of Duty. Now, I'll give you perspective on this Call of Duty. A lot of people probably may not know, and maybe some people do. This game dropped as a duo package that you could buy, and it was only the multiplayer. That's all you got with this Call of Duty is the Modern Warfare remastered. You got a
Yeah,
multiplayer.
just the multiplayer and the campaign remastered.
So there's
No
something.
special game.
So no.
modes.
So you didn't get the campaign. Wait. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't remember. But it was the multiplayer itself, right? Prop Hunt was the only good thing about it. It was the only thing that was enjoyable. The multiplayer was
Well,
terrible.
unless you somehow found a way to get shipment as one of your maps, which
Yeah, so the multiplayer was terrible. The spawns were completely broken. You would spawn behind enemies, you'd spawn in front of enemies. It was just a broken mess. The guns were garbage. The game was just not fun. Overall, I don't know why they released this, and it just didn't work. I don't know why they duo released it with Infinite Warfare. It made no sense. It was kind of like a weird judgment call from them, considering they have another Call of Duty, a main title Call of Duty going at the same time. So I don't know who made that decision at Activision, but that was the dumbest decision I've ever heard them make. Like I've never seen that before, and I think that's why both of those games are probably the worst Call of Duties I've ever played, hands down. They were just terrible. Um, I don't know about you, Faze. What do you think's your second?
that's really hard because I want to say that I agree there, but there's a lot of Call of Duties to pick from here.
Mm-hmm.
And most definitely, yes, that was not a Call of Duty that I liked,
Mm-hmm.
as in the multiplayer, but there was weapons and stuff that they ended up adding later on that were really cool. And ultimately just made me wish that I had the money to go back and buy all the fucking supply crates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm basically gonna have to agree there because I can't really crap on the older CODs like COD 3 or
Mm-hmm.
COD 2 because there wasn't high expectations at that time really. So
Yeah. 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 So I mean, yeah, you're right. Like I can't really say anything about the old CODs. I mean, you're the only one that really can because you've played them. I have not played them. So, but my third place. I mean, it is a no brainer, but I will explain kind of like how I think about it. Is Call of Duty Vanguard. I'm gonna be honest. The campaign was great. Zombies was terrible. I think that really killed the game for me. The first map was all right, like at best. We were expecting them to be adding some crazy maps, crazy Easter eggs. That never happened.
yeah, when we heard the
Um,
maps wouldn't be the same route that they were going with the first map, we thought they were gonna add some crazy good stuff, but it just
mhm.
ended up being like complete
Yeah,
opposite.
yeah, and so I think that's what really killed Vanguard for me. I'm gonna be honest, the multiplayer was whatever. People hate Vanguard, but I'm going to explain this. Like, I don't think it's that bad of a Call of Duty. I think the only problem with Vanguard is that it was boring. I think that's what it really comes down to. Like when you're a Call of Duty company, you want to make sure people are playing your game constantly, or at least trying to maintain a player base. Vanguard didn't do that. Vanguard was extremely boring, very super overpowered weapons that rarely got nerfed. Um, and like Vanguard weapons kind of ruined Warzone a little bit for a lot of people. So a lot of people just started hating on Vanguard for that. But in all honesty, I think the reason why I hate Vanguard It's because of zombies. The zombies sucked. We went from Cold War, right? Great zombies. The Treyarch Zombies team, that was perfect. That was their last game they made. Because I'm going to explain this. I don't know who at Activision decided this was a good idea, but they said, all right, let's take our Treyarch multiplayer team and let's put them on Vanguard Zombies. That was the worst decision I've ever heard in my life. Let's take the actual dedicated Zombies team away from the main game. Like, I don't understand that. I think that's what really made me mad, most of all, is that we could have had a great Vanguard Zombies. It could have been amazing. But because Treyarch's poor decision with sending their multiplayer team to do it, it really just ruined Vanguard. And I think what really irked me is because if you look at the difference between Cold War and Vanguard, Cold War had Aether crystals that you use to upgrade your abilities, powers, guns, all that, right? They should have done that for Vanguard. That would have increased like my replayability for that game.
In every Call of Duty, like really good zombie experience, they've had that. I mean,
Yeah.
some sort of like upgrade or sort of item you can take into the game with you, like gobble guns, liquid divinium, whatever it's been,
Yeah.
like the potions. You know, they've always had something that you can kind of take in as a boost
Yeah.
to
I
help
mean, yeah.
the game, and
Yeah. So
and
I don't know what your third option is, but I'm gonna take a hot guess. It's probably Vanguard.
yes, it is Vanguard.
Yeah.
I am gonna say one thing I did really like about the campaign was that you could use different abilities with your different teammates and like throw over ammo when they needed it and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And that was a really cool like new thing that I thought was pretty cool. But
Yeah, it's not necessarily new because I know World War II had the same thing, but it was like a better system.
yeah,
And like it was honestly great. I think the campaign was fine. I think it was all right. Do I think it was the best? No, it wasn't like crazy good. And that's another thing too. I think Cold War's campaign was great as well. I think all the campaigns in the past Call of Duty have been pretty decent, except for this one, MW2, like the 2022 best campaign, hands down, that I've ever played. Like, in my opinion, I think it was just so perfect that
these
like it
past
was too good.
ones haven't been amazing besides these Modern Warfare campaigns.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Sledgehammer has really done a good job on their campaigns as well. I mean, Treyarch kind of went away from doing campaigns for a bit. Then did one for
Infinity
Cold
Ward's
War.
campaigns kind of completely.
Always do good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were really good. I don't know. It's like after they released Infinite Warfare, I personally didn't enjoy that campaign. I know some people did, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that campaign necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it wasn't crazy, but I enjoyed it as much as I could. I mean, it was decent. Um, I mean, they added the Ethan skin into MW2, and I bought that because I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I mean that pretty much concludes all the ratings and stuff that we have. But yeah, I mean the last thing to kind of talk about, especially, is just kind of like Warzone 2 and like how we feel about it, and I'll kind of start on that because I think Warzone 2 is literally 100 times better than the first Warzone. I will say this though, Al Mazrah the first map that they've dropped for Warzone 2 is kind of like an like it's a 50-50. And I think it's better than Verdansk. A lot of people are going to hate me for that, but I did not enjoy Verdansk as much as
I
everyone else.
never liked Verdansk from the start.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that the weird thing is people are like, obviously, like, no, how could you do that? Verdansk was best, and I get that. Like, a lot of people love Verdansk, and that's totally cool and fine. I think that in terms of Al Mazrah, like a map that I've really enjoyed, I think it's not bad. Like I don't think it's like horrible. I think the mid game is boring. I think late game is super super high and intense and like fun. And I think early game is really funny as well. I think it's just overall way more funnier of COD. I think a lot more people are enjoying Warzone 2 just because there's proximity chat. Everyone's loving it. And I love it. I love the proximity chat. Um, but I will say this, like, I think it is better than Verdansk and all that. But I would love to see more maps from them. And I want to see what they kind of like what PUBG did with all their maps is them constantly adding new maps for Warzone. I think it would be great. Um, Obviously they don't need to make a return of Rebirth Island or any of the other maps, but they can make brand new maps and brand new small maps and they could be perfect, you know? Yeah, but I'm really excited for that. Um, and I guess, we'll see. I don't know what your opinion on Warzone is. I think the loadouts and like the weapon balancing is perfect because there really isn't too crazy metas. Like every weapon is kind of like good. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's whatever. I enjoy
I've
Warzone,
definitely
but
enjoyed it so far. It hasn't gotten boring just yet, that's for sure. Um, it hasn't been like annoying or like it hasn't got on my nerves like the original Warzone did.
yeah. I'd say probably my favorite two maps in the original Warzone were Fortune's Keep and obviously Rebirth. But yeah, in terms of like just having fun and being able to enjoy it, I would say probably Warzone 2 is fun. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. I've never really super enjoyed COD BRs. They're just kind of whatever. I really enjoyed Fortnite. I literally grew up on Fortnite. I was an OG. I've played Fortnite constantly. But I will say, like, Warzone 2 is great. It's awesome and all. Um, but yeah, really, really cool, really fun. The last thing we can kind of talk about this podcast phase is something that I think is going to be interesting. It's a limited time mode that is coming to Call of Duty. It is called COD Ball, where basically it's Rocket League, but you're on quads and you basically kick around a soccer ball in a field. Which honestly, I'm going to try it. I don't think I'm going to play it a lot because whenever COD adds something like this, it's kind of whatever. I personally would like to see them add prop hunt. I'm gonna be honest. I
Reminds
love
me of
prop hunt.
prop hunt in a way because I remember we had a very similar game mode where you would go in the middle and pick up a ball, and then you would go and you would just throw it into a circle, and then you could
Oh
score.
yeah, it was Uplink. That was what it was called. It was called
I
Uplink.
I personally liked Uplink.
Yeah,
I didn't
Uplink
like
was
how it
cool.
gave the user who got the ball like the extra armor, but I liked the
hmm
game mode idea
Yeah,
itself.
I think Advanced Warfare did really good with Uplink. There was no extra armor. You dropped your guns. You pretty much carried the ball. You could hit people with the ball, and it would one hit. But most of the people were kind of just trying to rush to score a point. I mean, and usually you'd end up dying because it was pretty hard to score unless the enemy team was really bad. So, but yeah, I'm excited to play COD Ball. I'll try it like once or twice, but it's nothing crazy. I want to see prop hunt. I love prop hunt. Like, I just really want to see prop hunt for some reason. I don't know what it is. I just love prop hunt in Call of Duty.
I definitely can't wait to see them add more party game modes as the game.
Or even
Like,
infected or gun game. Like
I'd love to see sharpshooter, one in the chamber,
mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
all that different stuff. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be good to add. But I think we'll wrap it up here for this podcast. But before we go, remember, guys, the COD update for Season 1 Reloaded starts literally Wednesday, December 14th. For anyone that is wondering, there's going to be a lot of cool things like raids, COD Ball, new game mode called Bounty, and many different maps like Shipment coming out, and 2 new operators, Klaus and also gas, which is going to be awesome. You can earn gas for free in raids, or you can buy him and get an extra skin, his sniper ghillie suit, from the campaign mission. So there's many cool things coming out, especially the Chimera, which is basically the honey badger. You guys could check that out as well. But before we wrap up, guys, go ahead and check out our channels and stuff down below in the description. We have the links to all of our Twitches down below, our TikTok and our Instagram, all that stuff. Go check it out. Please show support. We much appreciate when you guys do. And we'll bring this podcast to you in our next future podcast episode on Friday. So be sure to check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this Call of Duty podcast. I am your host, Beyond Spritz, and I will catch you guys in the next COD podcast episode. Peace.